If Dirty does it and Dirty said it in 30 minutes, I've been legit in his business for more than 30 minutes. Oakland to Vegas, Aldo, Mark Davis, Keza the Coliseum, a silver and black famous. Black hole energy at the center of Death Star. Raiders bring the magic, we competition with Pixar. 3 different decade champion wins don't fade. Dirty is the name of man, the legacy you can't stain. Once a Raider, always a Raider, that's the motto, right? Just win, baby, like the torches set the iron sights. Got the shield ready, all them wins get us through the fight. Outlaws of the league, Raider Nation going worldwide.
Yo, what it do? What it do? Raider Nation, what it do? It's your boy Dirty back for episode 1 of 2026. Yes, I'm finally back in the studio. I'm finally back doing some things. We got some things to talk about. But first and foremost, 150 billion things in the world you could be doing right about now. The fact that you allow me to grace your screen and take up any amount of your time is greatly appreciated, more than I can verbally express. With that being said, let's jump into it. We all know what the Raiders season was. We all watched it with our eyes. We all saw what we saw. We saw poor coaching. We saw players quitting. We saw poor quarterback play, poor offensive line play. Just all in all, we saw a terrible, terrible display of professional football. Let's just be honest about that. We saw a terrible display of what is supposed to be professional football. Now, who does the blame lie upon? Who really deserves most of this blame? Well, if a company doesn't succeed, you usually look at the top of the company, right? If a Fortune 500 company isn't doing too well, it's usually because of a decision that the CEO made, right? So we have to start with Mark Davis. And it's not so much that he's the problem as right now, as much as the problem that has been created over time. What I mean by that is poor running and execution of the Raiders franchise in recent history. Poor choices at coaching, poor choices at GM, poor choices as to what players stay and what players go. Just bad choices, right? Mark Davis made a ton of bad choices prior to Spytek and Brady getting here. Now, I hear a lot of people saying, oh, Tom Brady this, Tom Brady that. Well, look, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? You hear it all the time. Rome wasn't built in a day. It's going to take some time. 1 year is, for some teams, it'll cut it. For some teams, it won't. Unfortunately, we're in a situation where 1 year turnaround just wasn't going to cut it. Now, with Mark Davis having, you know, to be blamed for this, you also have to look at John Spytek. Spytek also made some pretty poor decisions. Words out of his own mouth. I'm not throwing him under the bus. He made some poor decisions and letting players go last year that, you know, when you look at them at other teams, they're doing well. They're doing really well. Spytek had nothing to do with Adams leaving. We know that. He didn't keep Merritt. Now, Merritt is at home now, but he was just in the playoffs. And he was doing quite well for Carolina, you know? So, you got players like that walking out the door. You got players like the linebacker that's over in New England. You know what I mean? Joe Elliott, what's up with you, man? Blessings to you, man. Blessings to you. It's just we brought in players that we thought were gonna, uplift this team. It didn't happen. He brought in one of his linebackers that he had a lot of faith in. Now, mind you, White has some good days. He has some bad days. The problem is we can't be up and down all the time. Raider Paul, what's good with you, man? Blessings to you. We can't be up and down all the time. We can't be wishy-washy. We're going to get to the Mendoza in a minute, you know what I mean, a little bit later in the show. I'm not going to be here long. We're doing 1 hour shows. I had some guests that said they would quite possibly appear. We'll see if they will or not. It would be nice to bounce some things off of somebody, but if not, hey, all is gravy. All is gravy. Shouts out to my boy Gravy. Matter of fact, since we're just bringing up his name, shouts out to Gravy. Cool cat, really good guy. So we will definitely get to the Mendoza in a minute. We have to find the root of the problem first and foremost. You know what I mean? For sure, holla at me, Raider Paul, if you're gonna be in the LA area. Anytime anybody's in the LA area, man, hit me on IG, holla at me. You know what I mean? I'll hit you up. You know what I mean? I'll hit you up. If I can meet up with you and grab a bite to eat, I will. No big deal. So Spytek made some terrible decisions in letting players go. So he has to do a better job of recognizing talent and keeping it in-house. The other bad decision that was made was bringing in Pete Carroll. Now, I'll be honest, I honestly didn't think it was a bad decision when we initially made the decision. I was one of those people who thought Pete Carroll could come in here, bring some culture, a winning culture, get the program turned around, headed in the right direction. Never in my wildest dreams did what I have imagined that he would have done worse than AP. And just being honest, I don't think anybody could have imagined Pete Carroll doing a worse job with this team than AP. And I'm not throwing any shade at AP. And I'm really not throwing any shade at Pete Carroll either. But the reality of the situation is we all thought that we had a coach coming in here who had exhibited a winning culture, who had been a part of winning programs, who had won the big dance. Those coaches are hard to find. And you think that you have that, but in reality, you have a guy that was once that, but at this point in time, the game has passed by. And there's no way of knowing that until you throw them into the fire. You ever chop down a tree and then throw it in your fire pit, but it don't burn? Some wood's not made to burn. You know what I mean? What up, Loon? Shouts out to you, Brody. Blessings to you, man. Blessings to you, man. Love you, bro. Miss you, man. Holla at me. You know what I mean? Yeah, the cat didn't drug me in, man, and people been hitting me about the Dirty Lunatic show, and I feel like it just may be time to bless them. You know what I mean? Bless the people with some ignorant shit. You know what I mean? It's time to bless the people with some ignorant shit. And also, I've been writing. You know what I mean? I've been writing for the project that you hit me with. I've been writing low key. You know what I mean? I've been low key writing. So holla at me, man. You know what I mean? He said, never chopped a tree, but burned some blunts before. I hear that. I think we all have, man. I think we all have. You know what I mean? But I think Pete Carroll was just at that point where there just was no fire left. You know what I mean? There just wasn't any fire, really to bring out, what's deep down inside of some of these players. So, now we're on another coaching search. And this is where the fun begins. This is where we're getting ready to enjoy ourselves, right? Because there's a ton of coaches available right now, right? And there's going to be a name that comes out tomorrow. You heard it here first. I'm telling you right now, Tomlin's name is coming out tomorrow. Pittsburgh is not keeping Tomlin. They are going to go ahead and move in a different direction. I said it here first, before Adam Schefter, before anybody. You know what I mean? I'm telling y'all right now, I got a strong feeling that Pittsburgh is going to go in a different direction for their head coach. Especially with, names out there, you know what I mean, that, a lot of people just have on their lips. I will tell you guys my favorite to take this head coaching position. I could be right, I could be wrong, but my guy is Clint Kubiak. That's my guy. I'm on the Clint Kubiak train. I can see some strong things happening underneath Clint Kubiak's tutelage, especially with this offense, which has truly been lackluster. What up with you, Raider Pete, man? Blessings to you, man. Cartel Entertainment, what's good, man? Salute to you, man. Blessings and blessings upon blessings, man. Hope all is well with you, man. Hope all is well with everyone. But Clint Kubiak is my guy. You know what I mean? And we'll talk about him in a minute. We're going to talk about some other guys, you know what I mean, that have been given some shine, but I honestly don't think they're there yet. Davis, quarterback coach for the Denver Broncos, offensive coordinator, quarterback coach. While I think the guy really, really, really knows and understands football, he's not ready. He's not ready to take over the reins just yet, man. You know what I mean? It's true. You don't find many people who come into the NFL with a position of like quarterback coach as their first job. Most people start at the bottom, runners, you know what I mean? Things of that nature, assistants to assistants, but this guy is so intelligent, so smart, so knowledgeable about football that his first job in the NFL was a QB coach and then elevated to offensive coordinator, right? But that doesn't make him ready, right? I believe staying there under Sean Payton for another year or two could really do that guy some good and really elevate him to the level of of what's the right word? I want level of dominance. I'll just say dominance. You know what I mean? I believe he could probably get a team within the next 2-3 years and really have gained a lot of experience as to how to run a team in the NFL and truly shine from there. Ja, my guy, what's good with you, man? Blessings to you. Ja says, same dirty. He left a good impression with Tom Brady and he wants his own QB. Yeah. And I really will get into Kubiak a little bit more because I think there's a lot that comes with Clint Kubiak. You know what I mean? But I just want to go down the line of these other guys who are definitely notable. You know what I mean? But I think they just lack something that the Raiders are really looking for at this point in time. And one of the things that Davis lacks is experience, right? I think that's what hurts him the most. I think he may be able to knock an interview out the park and people talk about him and he's on the lips of everyone. But I think the lack of experience is what's going to hurt him. And by him going in and interviewing right now, he's going to find out what it is he actually needs to learn and apply to his coaching in order for him to be a head coach in the NFL. And I think it's a really good experience to go out and at least get a feel for what people are looking for so that you could make yourself a better coach. You know, nothing wrong with that. Let me get into the Harbaugh real quick because I can definitely tell you Harbaugh's not taking this job as the Raiders head coach. One of the things is he doesn't want to be in a division with his brother. He definitely doesn't want to be in a division with his brother. He doesn't want to have to see him 2 times a year. He doesn't want to have to, have these conversations with him and things of that nature. He feels like if he's going to play him, then it needs to be for the big game and the big game only, right? And I can fully respect that, understand that. And that's why I honestly feel like he'll probably take the job in New York with the Giants and just, tutelage Jackson Dart, who is a really good quarterback for them. And I feel like he keeps his family on the East Coast. New York's not too far from where he's at in Baltimore. It's probably like a 30-minute plane ride, helicopter ride or something like that. So he doesn't really have to uproot his family and move or anything like that. They're fairly close to each other. So, I don't think it's a long trip or journey at all. You know what I mean? And, the Giants are an NFL team, so they definitely got the money to helicopter their coach in. You know what I mean? So, that's my stance with the Harbaugh situation. Now, Cliff Kingsbury, nah, I'm not feeling that. I'm definitely not feeling that. I feel like he has not done anything to show me that he's worth a head coaching position again. I wasn't impressed with the Washington Commanders this year with nothing that they did, truthfully, even with their quarterback being down and, missing some pieces or whatnot. I just wasn't impressed. I believe that he is a good offensive coordinator. I just don't think that he's shown me anything that suggests that he is a head coach candidate once again. Now, I said, I'm not here to throw any shade at anybody. I'm just here to speak my honest opinion as to things as how I see them. I may be right. I may be wrong. So just understand these are just what I see. You know what I mean? And everybody sees things different. So you are more than welcome to have your opinion as well as I'm welcome to have mine, right? Raider Pete asked the question of who brings more players with him, LaFleur or Kubiak. Lots of free agents that they both coached. Honestly, I believe Kubiak will probably bring more players with him than LaFleur. Simply because I really, we'll get into it. because I have a lot to say about the Clint Kubiak and the way that it could work out, and pieces that could be applied, and the road that can be taken. So we'll definitely get into Clint Kubiak in a minute. LaFleur is a nice name. LaFleur is a nice name. Not sure how it would technically work out. You know what I mean? I'm interested in seeing how. I'm interested in hearing how the interview is. You know what I mean? Did he blow them away? Did he have them in awe? So SpyTech's office should look like a private investigator's crime wall connecting the dots for maximum Raider gain. I hear that. I definitely hear that, Raider Pete. Joe Brady is off the list. He confirmed he'd be returning back one more season for Josh Allen. That's why no one interviewed him. Hey, that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. Because I feel like as good of a coach as Joe Brady is, they have to win the dance, bro. He doesn't have time to think about anything else right now. So the right move would be, hey, I'm going to return one more year with Josh Allen. There's also going to be some teams available next year that are going to be looking for head coaches as well. It's a carousel. The game keeps operating, rotating, and keep moving. He may have the inside track as to Andy Reid, knowing Andy Reid might only do one more year and Kansas City job is available. Right? That could happen. There could be some coaches that got one more year to do something bad and it's over. Right? So that's a possibility too. Let's get into Stefanski, because I hear people say, "Oh, bring us." I'm a no-go on Stefanski, and my reason for not wanting Stefanski is because I did not like the way he handled the Shedeur Sanders situation. I just did not like the way he handled that as a head coach. You know what I mean? I felt like he was kind of being petty with with some of that stuff. I felt like he was just kind of being petty, and I didn't really like it, especially not from my head coach. My head coach can't be acting like a high school student. You know what I mean? Oh, I don't like his daddy. I don't like the fact that he's getting more publicity and all of this. Well, I'm not, and people are going to say, oh, no, it was a lot more that went into it. But no, let's be real. Let's just be real. Shedeur Sanders did more with that team than the other quarterbacks did combined. He did more by himself than all of the other quarterbacks that played for them combined. He won more games, threw for more yards, had more success with less star talent. So I blame the failure of their season on their head coach. And so does the owner, and that's why they fired him. And I feel like maybe you should have to sit down a year and figure this shit out. Definitely go back to being a coordinator. You know what I mean? Till you figure, look, sometimes you have to put your ego aside to lead properly. A leader can't have the biggest ego in the room because he will never lead the right way. True leaders know how to delegate. True leaders know how to ask for help. True leaders know how to get some input, right? True leaders don't have the biggest ego in the world. So, let me break down as to why I feel like Clint Kubiak could be the guy to come in here and change this program around for the good. Success, right? Success. Success is a key word. he is having a extremely successful season with Sam Darnold in the Seattle Seahawks. He has turned them around. He has taken that team from a 4-12, 4-13 to a 13 and what? 3? 14-3, 13-4. A complete turnaround. He has that team over there offensively on fire. Yes, they added some key pieces and, they brought him in and whatnot, but he has that offense on fire. An offense that had one of the worst offensive lines last year, if not the worst offensive line. Yeah, 14-3 winning the division. 14-3 winning the division. His offensive playbook is player friendly. The terminology in the book is not complicated. It's very easy to win. It's very easy to learn. I won't say win. It's easy to learn. Players can comprehend it. Players can get it down packed. No problem. It's not confusing. The other thing is his playbook is deceptive. He runs multiple plays out of the same formation. He has multiple plays that look one way, but have 6 to 7 multiple different variations of how it can be ran. So Raider Pete, yes, look, I get the nepotism. I get that, he was given jobs. But let's just be honest. Raider Pete, if you have a son that could do the job and you can give him that leg up, will you? I know I would. If I owned a company or worked at a company and my son knew how to do the job here at the company, just needed a chance to prove it, I'm going to give him the opportunity. And with everything that his father has given him, other people have taken notice and given him the opportunities as well. Right? So Kubiak is probably my number one pick at head coach too. I just don't think it happens. Look, you got to keep the faith, Alfredo. Blessings to you. Thank you for being here as well. You got to keep the faith, brother. If we always think negative of our team, we'll get negative in return. So he says, Raider P says, I really like Mike McDaniel as our OC, assistant head coach, modern day players that use the stars, best intangibles. Daboll is the OC with Brady connections, but not an OC. I could see Daboll working alongside Kubiak. You know what I mean? I could see that. But I don't know if that's something that happens. I don't know if that's something that happens. He said Ben Johnson had 0 experience. Bears took risks. Some goes to Rams. Sean McVay, 0 experience. Has 1 Super Bowl under his belt. I understand all of that. I get it, Ja. I get it. But what I'm saying is 2 years coaching in the NFL is not enough experience. Ben Johnson may not have had head coaching experience, but he definitely had coaching experience in the NFL. Same goes for Sean McVay. These are all guys that work their ways up to where they are. Davis has not worked his way up. He came in blowing Sean Payton out the water with his knowledge of football. He was a quarterback coach and he elevated to an OC after 1 year. I don't think you go to a head coach in 3 years of being in the NFL. I don't see it. It doesn't make sense to me. Would you let would you let somebody come into your company that really doesn't know how to run a team, a section of your business that is very important, very valuable? You know what I mean? It's just not good enough. You know what I mean? It's just not good enough. Yeah, and I think Kubiak is the coach that can come in here and make us dominant. I believe he brings culture. I believe he's a coach that players want to play for. I believe he could put the proper game plan in order together in order to have Mendoza succeed. Now, I'm going to throw something out there that's about to blow everybody out the water right now. I'm about to throw something out there that's about to blow everybody out the water up. And just hear me out. Don't badmouth me. Don't curse me out. Just hear me out. Just hear me out, please. First thing the Raiders need to do is figure out a way to restructure Geno's contract, right? Once you restructure Geno's contract, you figure out a way to get him traded away. It could be a 4th round pick, 5th round pick, 6th round pick, 7th round pick. Just a pick, right? I don't need anything high. I don't need anything crazy. Just restructure the contract and then get rid of it. Then what you want to do is you want to focus on your offensive line and free agency. You want to get you a guard. You want to get you a tackle, maybe 2 tackles. You know, you want to get you maybe a center. You maybe want to get a guard, a tackle, and a center. You know, but let's just be real. Parham isn't cutting it. We know what JPJ can do. Colton Miller is up in the air because of his injury. You know, and then just on the other side, Glazing, and they're just not getting it. They're just not getting it. They're just not getting it done. They're not doing it the right way, right? So you focus on some offensive line. Now, this is where I'm getting ready to lose people. I guarantee you, this is where I'm getting ready to lose people. You bring Derek Carr back. Now, hear me when I say this. You bring Derek Carr back in order to tutelage Mendoza. Mendoza can make all the throws. He has the capability of being a superstar. But what he can't do just yet is read an NFL defense. Who better to come in here right now and teach the kid about making pre-check reads? Carr already knows Kubiak's system. Who better than come in here and teach it to the next superstar? Quote unquote. We still have to see if he'll make it at the next level. But I think Derek Carr comes back and shows Mendoza how it's supposed to be done. Does he play a whole season, start a whole season? Probably not. Probably not. He probably starts 6 games because that's probably what it's going to require for Mendoza to really catch on to what the NFL has to produce, right? I think Mendoza is a really good quarterback. 1-year deal was fine with me, Ja. I think Carr only has 1 or 2 years left in him anyway. But I feel like he's the only quarterback deserving of wearing the silver and black and that can come in here and really show Mendoza how to do the pre-check reads before the ball is snapped, how to read a defense, how to get into the proper formation in order to be successful. And that's my honest opinion. You heard it here first. You ain't going to hear it nowhere else. You only going to hear it from me, because I'm probably the only one that's thinking logically. A lot of people are still thinking with, I hate Derek Carr, no Derek Carr, this. But I'm thinking from a football coaching standpoint. If I needed a veteran to come in here that is excellent at pre-check reads, who could really, really, really sit down and communicate with this kid, connect with this kid, you know what I mean? I'm all for it. You gotta kind of imagine they're kind of the same player, right? They're the same person, not same player. They're kind of in the same person, especially with their faiths, their beliefs, how they address things, how they say things, how they don't throw people under the bus, how they take responsibility, how they give credit, how they give love. You know what I mean? He's pretty much exactly what Derek Carr was, but I think with a better and higher ceiling than what Derek Carr achieved. I'll say that. Do I think Mendoza is a Super Bowl winning quarterback? That remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. You know what I mean? Games have to be played. Things have to be done. Film has to be made. But yes, he's still under contract, but he can be released from the Saints as well, too. That's the other thing. He's still under contract, but he can be released. And to top it off, you wouldn't give up a 7th round pick for Derek Carr? That's a 7th round pick. Well, who really cares, man? Right? I give you a 7th round pick for DC. Why not? Whatever. Because I'm getting a quarterback in here that I know can teach the quarterback that is going to lead this team to success. And that's why I want Klint Kubiak. I feel like Kubiak's offense can be ran so well by Mendoza. But I know a couple of weeks ago I was saying, I don't know if I really want Mendoza. I'm willing to trade back. I'm still all good at trading back if there's a player that the New York Jets want that's not Mendoza and they want to come up to get him. You know what I mean? But I highly doubt that, because if we take Mendoza, I'm sure the player that they're going to want is going to be sitting right there. Not a big deal. They're going to get him for less money than number 1 overall, right? So let's just say the Raiders stick with number 1 and they take Mendoza overall. That means in the offseason, they would have had to address that offensive line. They would have had to solidify that offensive line. Kubiak is going to make sure that that offensive line is built. Derek Carr, if you sign him in the offseason, he's going to make sure that that offensive line is built, right? So I feel like if you address your offensive line in the offseason, free agency, you then open yourself up to draft some really good defensive backs and linebackers this year and help your defense build a little bit. I mean, you have almost $100 and something million in free agency money. That should be more than enough to get you 5 to 6 key players that could come in here and make a difference day one. If Carr is Kubiak's QB coach, who are the 3 QBs in the room? Mendoza, O'Connell, and Daniel Jones on the mend. Why would Carr be the QB coach? He can't be a QB coach. He would have to officially retire to do that, and I think you still have to sit out 1 year. So I don't think he can retire and then become a coach the next day. So if Carr comes here, it's to play. It's not to be the QB coach. It's to play. And he could then turn around and be the QB coach, you know what I mean, the following year. So if he plays 2026 and retires at the end of 2026, he could be a QB coach in 2027 because he would have went through an offseason. So Derek Carr is still an active contract for the New Orleans Saints. It's just on hold. So de facto QB coach is QB4. I hear you, man. I hear you. So that's why I'm on the Klint Kubiak train. There are players linked to Klint Kubiak that could really come in here and make a true difference for our Raiders. He also brings a simplified playbook that players can really grasp and understand and not be confused and be able to run plays a little bit smoother. I believe he brings a structured system as how to get things done, how he wants things done. I believe he brings in the will to win. I believe he makes good decisions as to what and as to how things are done on his offense. So my guy is Klint Kubiak. I hear people asking for the coach of Indiana. I don't think that's a good decision. I don't feel like that's a good decision. I'm not impressed with his coaching resume. He's had one good year. One good year with Mendoza. Doesn't qualify you to be a head coach. Let's look at how many times that scenario has not worked out. How many times has that scenario worked? Actually, let's count it on. We can count more times that it didn't work than it did work. You know what I mean? I like the coaches from the Rams too. I do too. But I feel like they're not leaving for coordinator positions when they're already on a winning team as coordinators. So I honestly think Kubiak comes in. I believe Kubiak comes in, he picks his OC, and he picks his DC. I honestly feel like Patrick Graham is actually going to get the DC coaching job somewhere else. It might be the Commanders. It might be the Commanders. There's multiple teams that have requested to interview Patrick Graham as their DC. Not so much head coaching, but definitely as a DC for a team that feels like that's all they really need. They have the players, they got the squad, they just lack the proper leadership. And I think that a lot of franchises, as well as head coaches, feel like there's something that Patrick Graham has that they want and that they need. Webb could be a good OC candidate to work with Kubiak, but let's just be honest. With the way the Raiders are right now, would you leave Denver's OC to be the Raiders' new OC? I wouldn't. I'm a Raider fan, and I'm telling you, John B. Raider, I wouldn't leave Denver – just to get another OC job in Vegas. if I got the connection and I'm getting results and I'm the number one team in the AFC right now, and just saying. No, I believe he's the OC. He was the QB coach last year. I think he was elevated to the offensive coordinator this year. I could be wrong. But if I'm not mistaken, I believe he is the OC. You know what I mean? I believe he's the OC right now. I believe he was the QB coach last year. I believe he's the offensive coordinator now. Let me double check. I don't want to misspeak. Yeah. So that makes it even more. I'm not seeing it right now. Yeah, right here. Denver Broncos 2025 to present, offensive pass game coordinator and quarterbacks coach. So he is part of the offensive coordinating staff, but he's the offensive passing coordinator, pass game coordinator. You know what I mean? So, that's still not enough. You know what I mean? Like, it's a strong statement, but it's still just not enough. You know what I mean? It's just not. It doesn't ring gimme. You know what I mean? And he could be elevated to a full OC next year. And I think that might really help him in the long run. Truthfully, I feel like him going out and taking all of these interviews and finding out what NFL teams are requiring of a head coaching position is just going to make him that much better as he gains the experience. You know what I mean? And that's the only reason. Like, I feel like he could be a great candidate eventually, but not right now. Not enough experience to take over like that. You know what I mean? It's just not enough. So that's my reservations on him. I think he's a phenomenal QB coach. Watching what he's done with Bo Nix and how he's gotten that kid to perform and be at his best of best, man, you gotta hats off for that, right? At the same time, it's still not enough. You throw the kid into the fire too fast before he knows how to actually cook, he gonna end up burning the house down, right? You throw him at the stove and he don't really know how to chef it up like that, could quite possibly burn the house down. And we've had enough fires already. You know what I mean? It seems like we call the fire department every season to put the fire out because, we take the whole off season to rebuild the ground up, and all we do is 1 year again. 1 year later, we burn the shit down again. No more burning down, right? Let's not burn this down. Let's take the time to truly build this foundation. Let's put up some walls that are flame retardant, and let's actually do what's needed to be done. That's why I'm really happy as to how the Raiders are going about searching for their next coach right now. You know what I mean? They're doing their due diligence. They're sending out feelers and requests for all of these different people. They want to hear the different options as to how things could be done. Who's really going to present the case as to, who could really build this team, man? Who could take this team and turn it into what it once was at its highest state, right? I'm not saying I need a Super Bowl next year. I'm not saying I need a Super Bowl the year after that. What I'm saying is I need to see a winning culture. I just want to see more wins than losses. I want to see some relevant games. I want to see players that go out there, fully commit, give their all, their heart and their soul for this team, play every down like it's the last one. You know what I mean? This team is in dire need of someone who can truly plant a flag and say, hey, for the next 6 years, because I believe whoever comes in here needs to get a 6-year deal. 6 years, we are going to be a force to be reckoned with. Every time a team steps on the field, they are going to know they played against the Las Vegas Raiders. And they're going to feel it. They're not just going to know it. They're going to feel it. They're going to feel it in every part of their body, their feet, their toes, their ankles, their meniscuses, their ears. Everything going to hurt the day after playing us. Why? Because we are going to play with a true, fearless passion with the next coach that we bring in here, because we're not here to play games anymore. It is win now. It is a win now mentality. It has to be a win now mentality. You know what I mean? Greatest Raider fan, who are we hiring in 2027 once we fire the head coach we're about to hire? I don't really think that's going to happen, man. I think that the coach that we bring in this year, he's going to be given a proper chance. He's going to be given the ability to get it done. Reason being, I think he's bringing a different culture. You're going to see it right off the top. You're going to see it right off the top, man. I don't even know who we're hiring, but I'm telling you right now, whoever we hire right now, guaranteed 8 wins next year. I don't care who it is. Honestly, I'm telling you right now, I think the Raiders are going to bring in somebody who could win 8 to 9 games next year. Their philosophy, their mentality, their way of going about things is going to produce an 8 to 9 win football team next year. And if you're not looking for that coach, then what the hell are you looking for? If you're not bringing in a guy who can at least make you relevant, minimum, make you relevant, then what are you searching for? You can't look for the guy that's, oh, well, maybe he could do this, or maybe he could, no, you need to look for the guy that says, you know what, damn it, I know he could do this. Damn it, I guarantee he's going to do this. You don't need the maybe guy. You need the yes guy. This is him guy. If you're not getting that guy, what are we doing? We're setting ourselves up for failure. Set yourself up for success. You get success. Set yourself up for failure, and you will find failure. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I still think Mike McDaniel and Saleh have the most connections to build the roster and staff, but there are 8 to 9 head coaching openings, so we shall see. Yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh's coaching is going to be open tomorrow too. You know what I mean? You have to be patient with the next head coach, man. You have to be. But at the same time, I'm not going to be patient with a 3-win coach, man. I'm just being honest with you. I'm not going to be patient with a 3-win coach. You're never going to get that out of me. You're never going to get that out of me. I'm never going to be patient with a guy who can't win at least half his games. You have to be able to win half your games, man, in order for me to be okay with you. Anything less than half, I got a problem. He said, I can see that with how they're interviewing for the coaching position. They're trying not to fail this time. They're going to be interviewing about a lot of coaches. Yeah, they are. They're going to interview a lot of coaches, man. Like I said, I honestly feel like Tomlin gets the door tomorrow, gets shown the door tomorrow, but I also feel like Tomlin is the coach that will take a year off. Honestly, I feel like Coach Tomlin is the coach that would take a year off. I feel like he would really go home and just be like, you know what? I'm cool on the NFL this year. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to go ahead and take a year off, reevaluate where I'm at, and then come back fresh and new. But I do believe the head coaching position for Pittsburgh will be available. And you know what? That's going to be real enticing for a lot of these coaching candidates to get that job. Because the one thing we know about Pittsburgh is that when you get the head coaching job there, you there. Minimum 10 to 15 years. Minimum 10 to 15 years, man. I'm telling you right now, man. They didn't only had 3 coaches in their lifetime. Maybe 4. In their whole existence, I think they've only had 3 to 4 head coaches. So when you get that job as a head coach, you there. You definitely there. I know they don't have no QB there, but their next head coach going to get one. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the final 2 minutes of my show, man. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope that you had fun. If you showed up late, by all means, please rewatch the beginning. You know what I mean? Please rewatch the beginning. If you missed all of the show, leave your likes, your comments. You know what I mean? It goes a long way. You know, I've been gone for a while, so YouTube probably doesn't know I'm back. So they're probably not letting people know that I'm on. And I understand, you know what I mean? But by all means, please like, comment, share, subscribe. We're trying to do something different this year. I'm just bringing my honest opinions. I'm not here to sugarcoat nothing, not BSing nobody, you know. And yes, I'm back. I'm fully back. I'm 100% back. I know I've said it before, but I'm being honest. You might see me. Truthfully, whenever the hell I feel like jumping on the computer, I'm going to jump on the computer. You're not going to get any notice. It's going to be super quick. All my shows are going to just be shows, right? So I look forward to conversating with you guys, entertaining you guys, having a lot of fun, enjoying ourselves, allowing you to get your opinions across. A lot of you guys have great opinions, you know what I mean? But a lot of these content creators, they're just not willing to hear you out because they're so set in their ways and what they think. I'm willing to hear you out. So bombard me. Let me know. Holla at me. You know what I mean? Tell me what you want to hear, what you want to see. You know what I mean? And I will leave you guys with a treat today. Yeah, let's do a treat, man. Let's end the show with a treat, man. How about that? Yeah, let's do that, man. We'll leave the how do I do this? Oh, yeah. Close this. Boom. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's always a pleasure, man. D-Man, it's my guy, man. Thank you for the $5 donation to the super chats, man. I appreciate you, man. As always, good brother, man. I always appreciate you. Whenever I see you in person, you know what I mean? We sit down, we have a beer, we watch the games, we talk some shit, smoke one. I appreciate you, Brody. Always. Spartek has no excuses. Has the budget, the staff development, and the draft leverage. Have a good one. Raider Pete, thank you, man. Appreciate your participation in the show today, man. It really truly does go a long way, man. Hope y'all earning some of them YouTube points that they be giving out, you know what I mean, for commenting and being involved in the shows and the chats, man. Charles Washington, my guy, I haven't spoke to in a long time, man. Blessings to you. Thank you for checking me out. Like I said, if you guys just showing up, I'm on my way out the door, but I invite you to please run the show back, man. I said, I'm a little bit different, so check me out. All right. I love you guys, man. As always, 50 billion things on the face of the planet you could be doing. The fact that you allow me to grace your screen for any amount of time is greatly appreciated, more than I could verbally express. And my new saying, I will end with this. Look, DNA may make you related, but loyalty makes you family. Much love, Raider Nation. My guys, we out. Peace.